Hi there, welcome back to the ERS Fast Start video training series. This is Items Part 2. In this video, we'll get all of your ancillary items input into the system, and we'll create some suggested and required add-ons, and then we'll place a couple of test orders. So let's get started by inputting our snow cone flavors. With respect to quantity, this is a sales item. In other words, an item you don't expect to get back. By default, the ERS system will not count down your sales items as you sell them. But we do have settings that enable that countdown if you like. So please reach out to the tech support department if you'd like to enable those settings. We need to make sure to put this in a hidden category. The primary function of this add-on is for people to choose their free flavor when they add a snow machine to their order. So we don't need this item showing up until they put the snow cone machine in their cart. We can also use packages to create additional flavor packet items for an additional charge that we can put in the concessions and add-ons category. And we'll do that in a few minutes here. Now this part is important. We need the sales item schedule profile. Again, your snow cone flavors are a sales item. Those are things you're not going to get back. So we need to make sure to use that sales item schedule profile so the system manages the availability correctly. All right, so we're good to go there. Let's go ahead and submit. And the fastest way for us to input the rest of our flavors is to start by copying this one. All right, now that we've gotten our snow cone flavors in there, let's go ahead and create our additional flavor packets for the concessions and add-ons category. Again, we're going to start by copying. And this item is going to package the cherry snow cone flavor that we just made. Now we need to make sure to change the category to concessions and add-ons, and we're good to go, so let's submit. And again, starting with copying is going to be our quickest method. Alright, so we've got all of our flavor packet items in here. So now let's take a look at our add-ons. We're going to do that at Admin, Products, Add-ons. So if we click into the add-on that we have here, we can see that this is intended for upselling. So let's go ahead and create an add-on for our snow cone flavors. Description is where we enter our customer-facing text, meaning the text your customers will see. So we know we're going to have 3 choices. If we enter in a cost, the system will display and charge that cost if the item is chosen. However, if we don't enter in a cost, the system will just charge the regular cost of the item, which in this case is 0. Exclude parent item for required add-ons makes it so that whichever option they chose from the add-on is all that shows up in the cart and the receipt. So for example, if you have a promotion where you're giving away free shirts, and then you have a required add-on that asks them to choose their size, if you have exclude parent item for required add-ons set to yes for that add-on, in the receipt, rather than having 2 line items, the first of which says free shirt and the second of which says medium shirt, you just have 1 line item that says medium shirt. So in this case, I'm going to leave exclude parent item for required add-ons set to no, because I do want 2 separate line items. The top line item is going to say snow cone machine, and the bottom line item is going to say whichever flavor they chose. So this is good to go. I'm going to submit. Now we can get very strategic with our upselling strategies. We can make as many add-ons as we want, and we can apply them to items as suggested or required add-ons. So feel free to think about the strategic ways that you like to upsell when you're talking to your customers, and try to get the system to replicate that. In this case, I want to prompt people to add additional snow cone flavors when they choose their free flavor. And I'd also like to include things like a popcorn machine in that suggested add-on as well. Since the standard add-on in here has a lot of those items, I'm going to start by copying that one. Now we're going to remove snow cone machine from this add-on because they already have a snow cone machine in their cart, and we need to add the additional snow cone flavors. Now I want these additional snow cone flavors to be the first items that show up in this add-on. So I'm going to move them to the top of this list by clicking on the little blue and white cross and moving them up. And since we're leaving this entry blank right here, it'll go away once we submit. Alright, so now let's go ahead and apply our add-ons to our items. The easiest way to do that is going to be spreadsheet mode, so let's customize our view so that add-ons show up in here. And then let's go ahead and go into spreadsheet mode. So let's find that snow cone machine and apply the free flavor choice add-on to it. Now in the quantity box, if we don't put anything in there, the system assumes that you want the customer to just pick 1. However, maybe you want the customer to pick 2 or 3 of something. Or maybe you want them to allow a range, for example, 1 to 5. So in that quantity field, you can enter in a single number if you need them to choose that exact number, or you can enter in a range if there is an acceptable range. And that range can include 0, which would just mean that the customer does have the option of not opting for any of the choices in there. In this case, I'm only giving out one free flavor, so I'm going to just go ahead and leave that box blank, and I'm going to go ahead and save. Now we still need to apply the suggested add-ons to the flavor packets so that when someone chooses their free snow cone flavor, we can still upsell. And if someone chooses to add one of those additional snow cone flavors to their cart, I still want to upsell after that, so I want to apply some suggested add-ons to those items as well. So I've got 6 items that I need to edit the add-ons for. I can click here to organize them just like in browse mode, but actually in this case, I know that all 6 of those items have the word flavor in them, so the easiest and most effective way to narrow things down is to do a search. So we're going to apply the additional flavor add-on to our suggested add-ons for our free flavors. And we're actually going to do the same for the additional flavors, because maybe they choose one additional flavor and they'd like to do the third one as well. Alright, so we've got our inventory and our add-ons squared away. Let's go ahead and place a test order to test our settings and see what we think of the checkout process. Let's place our first order through the front-end live website so we can see what our customer's shopping experience will be like. I encourage you to take notes as you go through this ordering process so you can refine the flow and feel to be exactly what you're looking for your customers. For example, if you do all-day rentals, you may not want to have a time selector. That's fine, the system supports all-day rentals, time slots, and every which way of ordering you can imagine. So we can see our standard suggested add-on is working, and it looks like our snow cone flavor required add-on is also working, and our additional suggested add-on is also working. Now some people like to have what we call a cart step on this page. A cart step is just a prompt for the customer to fill out a bit of information before they start their checkout. Some people like cart steps because they may, for example, put the customer's first name and email address in that cart step. And that way, if the customer starts an order, finishes the cart step, and starts but does not finish the checkout process, then the owner has their contact information and can follow up with the customer promptly to see if they can complete the order and get that sale. Me personally, I prefer not to have a cart step because I want my customers to be able to order as quickly as possible. If you would like to have a cart step on this page, reach out to the tech support department and discuss what kind of information you'd like to collect, and they'll help you set that up. So I'm going to go ahead and check out. Now this page is also fully customizable. You get to choose what information you're collecting, what is required, and what information you're conveying to your customers. Now the drop-down menus and checkboxes between How Did You Hear About Us and Customer Comments all originate from Admin, Order Config, Order Options, Reminders, and Setup Surfaces. And we'll cover that in more detail in a subsequent tutorial. As far as the customer contact information that you're collecting, and what fields are required and what are not, the tech support department has to set that up for you. So again, take notes on that, decide what you'd like, and then feel free to reach out to the tech support department so that they can set it the way you want it. Alright, so we've got our information in here. Let's go ahead and continue. So this is a demo account, so I don't have merchant services and I can't take a credit card payment on this account. Submit without payment will not show up under your payment options on the front-end live website. Okay, so we've placed our order, and I received my email. This email is an editable document, by the way. You can set this to look however you want and contain whatever information you want. And we'll cover that in more detail in our Documents tutorial. Let's go ahead and place an order through the back end so that you can see what that process is like. We're going to do that at Scheduling Book an Event. And booking an event through the back end control panel is very similar to booking an event on the front end. However, you have more capability since you're an administrative user of the system. Now another thing we can do in the control panel that your customers can't do on the website is we can click here to update the price, apply a discount, add notes which will show up in the cart and on the receipt, and if we have other items in the cart, we can move up and move down to reorder them. Now for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and check out with the order just like this. So again, ordering through the control panel, you have more capability than your customers do on the live website. And one of the things we can do in the control panel that your customers can't on the front end is a customer search. And that saves time by auto-filling the information from their previous order. So here we can enter internal notes, and we can apply discounts and fees and override fees, which again, of course, your customers can't do on the front end. Now, customer status allows you to mark a customer as bad, which means that customer will not be able to place an order on your website. Bad clear just means that there's history, and at one point you considered them a problem customer who you wouldn't do business with, but it's since been cleared up and you are willing to do business with them now. And if you don't mark anything in here, the system treats them as good. Now from this screen, you're going to have a lot more payment options. Maybe your customer mailed you a check, or maybe they stopped by with some cash. So again, more versatility for you. We can also send a quote from this screen. Keep in mind that a quote is just that. It's only a quote. It does not reserve the inventory, and it does not finalize the reservation. It sends the customer an itemized quote, and there's a link in the email that they can click on to finalize the order. Now for this account, we've got it set for a $20 deposit. Once again, that's one of those things you can customize. You can have a set deposit, you can charge a percentage, it can be a certain amount if the order is less than a certain number of dollars, and a certain amount if the order is more than that. It's really however you want it. So again, make note of what your current deposit rules are so that you can update that in the near future. All right, I'm going to go ahead and submit this without a receipt because this is just a test order. I don't feel the need to spam myself with a bunch of receipts. There are also situations where maybe you made a very minor edit to the order, like maybe you added a secondary phone number, and you don't want to bother the customer with an additional receipt for that, so you would use submit without receipt for that as well. On the other hand, if it were a situation where maybe the customer paid the deposit and then they mailed you a check for the balance, in that case you probably would want to submit and send receipt so that they could receive their updated receipt reflecting that their balance has now been paid. But again, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and submit without receipt so I don't spam myself with a bunch of emails. Another couple of handy techniques for ordering and quoting in the back end are the quick order and the quick quote. So let's start with quick order. I've already selected my date and time here, so I'm going to go ahead and click into quick order up here. And as you can see here, this is going to pull up all of our available inventory for that date and time. So we can quickly add items to the cart here. So then from here, you can proceed to check out as normal. And of course, we know we can send a quote from the payment page, but there's actually a faster way to send the quote, which is the quick quote. So from the cart or customer info page, we can click onto this green icon. And again, all we need is the customer's first name and email address, and we can just send the quick quote with this one click. All right, so now we need to cancel those test orders, and we're going to do that here in scheduling. Not only do I not want to confuse myself, which is easy to do, but also, if we leave these orders in place, our reporting is going to get all screwed up. The system is going to think we've taken payments that we haven't, and it's going to think we have outstanding balances that we don't, etc. All right, now before I cancel these orders, I need to reverse the payment on this order so that my reporting doesn't get messed up. Now, if this were a credit card payment, I would simply click here to void the payment, or if the payment had already gone through, to refund it. However, that only works for credit card transactions. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to go back into this menu here. We're going to click on check again. I'm going to put in the same check number, and I'm going to pay a custom amount, which is going to be the exact negative of what's already been paid. Again, I'm going to submit without a receipt so as not to spam myself. And now that the order is zeroed out, I'm going to go back in and cancel it. Now with order number 1030, we don't have to cancel any payments because we haven't actually made any payments for that order yet. So to cancel the order, we're going to go ahead and click on this little gear. We're going to add a quick note for ourselves, and we are not going to apply a rain check. And if we're using a different view, the icon for canceling an event is a little different. It's this little switch instead of the gear. So once again, going to go ahead and put in a little note, and we're not going to apply a rain check. Alright, so that about does it for this tutorial. I hope this was helpful. In the next video, we'll learn how to add and edit web pages and edit the navigation of our website. And not to sound too much like a broken record, but remember, anytime you have questions, the knowledge base is always your friend. And of course, the tech support department is always here for you as well. And you can reach them at 505-435-9731, extension 102, or support@eventrentalsystems.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.